congratulations. I want you to receive that word not as a casual greeting, but as a formal and divine announcement from the very throne room of heaven. A matter of eternal significance concerning your life and your family has just been settled, and the verdict is a resounding and glorious victory in your favor. You may not feel it yet, you may not see the evidence of it with your physical eyes, but a monumental spiritual battle that has raged over your destiny has finally, and permanently, come to an end. This message, delivered by me, Michael, is the official notice of that victory. You have been brought here to be congratulated because a long-standing, invisible war that has been waged against your purpose has been decisively won. You may be feeling a strange and unexplainable sense of lightness in your spirit today, a quiet joy bubbling up for no apparent reason, a sudden feeling that a heavy weight you have carried for years has been lifted. That is not your imagination. That is the echo of heaven's celebration, the joyous roar of the angelic host, reverberating from the spiritual realm into your own heart. A great and ancient spiritual war that has shadowed your life for years has just been concluded, and the judgment was declared in your favor. This is not a future hope, it is a finished work. You are not waiting for a victory, you are standing in the immediate aftermath of one. This is your moment of divine vindication, a turning point that will redefine everything. This entire divine message is the explanation of that victory. I am here to explain to you what the battle was, why the verdict was declared in your favor, and most importantly, what this magnificent triumph means for every single area of your life from this day forward. The congratulations are for a new beginning, a fresh start, a complete and total reset of your spiritual and earthly reality. What was once blocked by spiritual warfare is now open. What was once a constant, draining struggle will now be a divine and effortless flow. Prepare your heart to receive the good news you have been praying for your entire life, for it is my great honor to be the one to deliver it to you now. Let this truth settle deep into your soul. You are being congratulated because your life is about to change in the most beautiful and profound way imaginable. This is not a small shift, it is a foundational change that will affect not only you but your entire family for generations to come. The celebration in heaven is for the end of an old, painful era of warfare and the glorious beginning of a new one defined by peace and victory. The war is over. The struggle has ended. And your season of restoration, of blessing, and of peace has now, officially, begun. Now, you must understand the nature of the battle that has just concluded. This was not a minor skirmish, it was a long, exhausting, and strategic war waged by the forces of darkness against your divine destiny. For your entire life, you have felt a constant and unexplainable resistance. Every time you tried to move forward, it felt like you were pushing against a powerful, unseen force. Every time you were on the verge of a breakthrough, a mysterious crisis would arise to sabotage your progress. This was not bad luck. It was not a series of unfortunate coincidences. It was a deliberate, targeted, and relentless spiritual war. The enemy had identified you, long ago, as a person of great and significant destiny. He saw the anointing on your life, the generational blessings you were meant to inherit, and the powerful purpose God had written for you. And he has been fighting, with all his cunning and all his resources, to ensure that you would never step into that destiny. He used the weapons of fear, of doubt, of confusion, of lack, and of relational strife to keep you in a perpetual state of survival mode, too tired and too distracted to ever realize the magnificent power you carried within you. This has been the great, hidden battle of your life. This war was a war of attrition. The enemy's strategy was to wear you down, to exhaust your spirit, to break your will, and to convince you that a life of struggle was your normal and unchangeable reality. He wanted you to accept the resistance as your fate. He wanted you to believe that the constant opposition was a sign of God's displeasure, or worse, his absence. He wanted to drain you of all hope until you, yourself, chose to surrender your great destiny simply because you were too tired to fight for it anymore. This was his sinister and patient plan. But he failed. Despite the relentless pressure, despite the moments of despair, despite the exhaustion, he did not break. You held on. You kept praying, even when your prayers felt weak. You kept believing, even when your faith was the size of a mustard seed. Your unwavering perseverance was the deciding factor in this war. Your refusal to give up was the signal that authorized heaven to launch its final and decisive counterattack on your behalf. The battle is over now, not because the enemy surrendered, but because your faith outlasted his assault. Before I reveal the glorious details of your sealed victory, you must formally accept your new status as a victor. The battle is over, and it is time to take off the old, heavy armor of a warrior and to put on the radiant robes of a king or queen who is now entering a season of peace. Acknowledge your victory by subscribing to this channel now, your new home for living in a reality of divine peace and favor. Let your like on this video be a powerful declaration, a triumphant raising of your banner of victory. And you must now become a messenger of peace. Share this video with one other person who you know is also weary of a long battle, for your victory is a promise of theirs to come. To abandon this divine celebration now is to win a great war and then refuse to attend the victory parade. Do not dishonor the battle that was fought for you. To formally receive your new inheritance of peace, go to the comments right now and with a heart full of triumphant joy, declare, "My battle is over. I walk in victory and in peace." As you type these words, you are formally stepping out of the battlefield and into your new, peaceful kingdom. Stay with me, for the glorious moment of heaven's final, decisive move is about to be revealed. Now, let me take you, in the spirit, to the very moment the tide of this long war was turned in your favor forever. This was not a slow retreat by the enemy, it was a single, decisive, and overwhelming victory orchestrated in the courts of heaven. Picture a divine war room, a celestial command center, with God the Father presiding. All the evidence of your long battle was presented, every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered, every act of faith you demonstrated in the face of overwhelming opposition. Your entire journey of perseverance was laid out as a testament to your unyielding heart. Then, at the appointed time, the final report from the battlefield was delivered. I, Michael, as the commander of the Lord's armies, had the profound honor of standing before the throne and making the final declaration. I reported that you, the soldier on the ground, had held the line. You had not broken. You had endured the final and most intense wave of the enemy's assault. Your faith, though tested to its absolute limit, had held firm. And with that final testimony of your endurance, the conditions for a total and complete victory had been met. The enemy's final stronghold against your destiny had been weakened by your persistent faith and was now ripe for demolition. Upon hearing this report, God the Father did not just authorize another counterattack. He authorized the final attack. He gave the order for a complete and total rout of the enemy forces that had been assigned to your life. In that moment, a wave of divine power, a tsunami of holy light, was released from the throne room. I, Michael, at the head of a legion of 1,000,000 warrior angels, was dispatched with a single, glorious command: end it. Now. We descended upon the spiritual forces that were arranged against you, not to engage in a battle, but to execute a sentence that had already been passed. The enemy's last stronghold was not just defeated, it was utterly and completely annihilated. It was erased from the spiritual landscape of your life as if it had never existed. The demonic princes that had been overseeing the war against your destiny were bound and cast into the abyss. The spiritual lines of resistance were shattered. The very memory of the battle was wiped from the spiritual atmosphere surrounding you. In a single, holy, and cataclysmic instant, your long, painful, and exhausting war came to a sudden, final, and glorious end. The victory was total. It was complete. And it is irreversible. And then, in the holy silence that followed this magnificent victory, God the Father took the scroll of your destiny, the one the enemy had been fighting so hard to prevent, and he dipped his divine seal into the very light of his own glory. And with an act of eternal and unchangeable finality, he pressed that seal upon your victory. This is what it means when heaven says your victory has been sealed. It is not just a promise, it is a legally binding, spiritually permanent, and divinely notarized fact. It is a finished work that can never be undone, never be challenged, and never be overturned by any force in hell or on earth. This seal is a declaration to all of creation that this specific, long-running war against your destiny is over, forever. The enemy has lost all legal and spiritual rights to ever again wage this particular campaign against you. He cannot appeal the verdict. He cannot request a new trial. The case is closed. The war has been won. The victory has been sealed. This is a divine and eternal decree. The spiritual laws that once permitted this battle to rage in your life have now been permanently rewritten in your favor. You are no longer a soldier in a war. You are a citizen of a kingdom of peace, and your peace is guaranteed by an unbreakable heavenly seal. This seal is also a mark of divine ownership and protection. By sealing your victory, God has placed His own unmistakable and powerful signature upon your life, declaring to all the spiritual realm, "This one is mine. Their victory is mine. And to touch them is to touch me." This seal now acts as a perpetual and powerful repellent against the enemy. When he looks at you, he no longer sees a weary soldier to be harassed. He sees the blazing and terrifying seal of the living God, a mark that he is commanded to respect and to flee from. Therefore, you must let this truth sink into the deepest part of your being. The battle is not in a lull. The war is not in a ceasefire. It is over. It is finished. It is sealed. You are now free to lay down your weapons, to rest your weary soul, and to begin the joyful and glorious process of rebuilding your life on the solid and peaceful foundation of a victory that has been eternally and unchangeably secured for you in the highest courts of heaven. Now you must be made aware of the powerful and loving role that I, Michael, will play in this new season of your lives. While the war was raging, my primary role was that of your divine general, your celestial strategist, leading the armies of heaven in unseen battles on your behalf, fighting alongside you in the trenches of your spiritual warfare. I was your commander, your defender, and your brother in arms. But now that the battle is over and your victory has been so gloriously and permanently sealed, my assignment for you does not end. It beautifully and powerfully transforms. I am no longer just your general in a time of war. I am now transitioning to the role of the guardian of your peace in this new time of victory. My mission is no longer to lead you in battle, but to ensure that you can fully and completely enjoy the spoils of a victory that has been won. My legions and I are now being repositioned. We are no longer on the front lines of an active battle. We are now forming a permanent and impenetrable perimeter around your new, peaceful reality. We are the divine peacekeepers, the heavenly sentinels, tasked by God to ensure that the defeated enemy can never again rise up to disturb the sacred peace that has been so hard-won. My new assignment is to be the enforcer of the divine seal. When the enemy, in his bitterness and his defeat, may attempt to whisper the old lies of fear and struggle back into your mind, it is now my duty to silence those whispers. When he tries to create small skirmishes of chaos to try and pull you back into a feeling of warfare, it is my duty to extinguish those fires before they can ever grow. I am the guardian of your new borders, ensuring that the old war remains a thing of your past and never again becomes a part of your present. Therefore, you can and you must learn to rest. A soldier who has been at war for a long time often finds it difficult to adjust to a time of peace. They are always listening for the sound of battle, always waiting for the next attack. I am here to personally tell you, you can stand down. You can breathe. You can lower your weapons. The watch is now being held by me and the armies of heaven. Your new role is not to fight, but to build. It is to create. It is to love. It is to live in the glorious and unhindered peace that your own perseverance has so richly earned. Your peace is now my personal and sacred responsibility. Now that the battle is over and your victory has been sealed, the time has come to receive the spoils of your great and hard-won war. A victorious king does not return from the battlefield empty-handed. He returns with the treasures, the resources, and the reclaimed territory of the defeated enemy. And so it is with you. God, your king, now opens the treasury of heaven to bestow upon you the magnificent spoils of your victory. The first and most precious of these treasures, the one that will arrive almost instantly, is the spoil of supernatural peace. For years, you have lived in a state of constant, low-grade spiritual and emotional turmoil. The battle against your destiny created a relentless undercurrent of anxiety, of unrest, of a feeling that you could never truly relax. That is now over. I, Michael, am now commanding a divine and holy silence to descend upon every area of your life. The spiritual noise of the battle, the demonic whispers of fear and doubt, the chaotic energy of the conflict, all of it is being silenced now by a power that is absolute. A wave of peace, so profound and so palpable that you will feel it in your very cells, is now washing over you. This is not the fragile, temporary peace of the world, which is merely the absence of conflict. This is the robust, unshakable peace of heaven, the very peace of Christ Himself, a peace that can stand firm and serene in the midst of any external storm. It is a peace that says, "It is finished. The war is won. You are safe now." This supernatural peace will be the first and most undeniable sign that your battle is truly over. You will notice it when you wake in the morning. The familiar feeling of dread will be gone, replaced by a quiet and gentle optimism. You will notice it in the middle of your day. Situations that would have once sent your heart racing with anxiety will now be met with a calm and centered wisdom. You will feel it most profoundly when you lay your head down to sleep. Your mind, for the first time in a long time, will be quiet. The restless tossing and turning will be replaced by a deep, restorative, and divinely protected rest. This peace is your first and greatest spoil of war. It is the new atmosphere of your life. It is the healing balm for your weary soul. Cherish it. Nurture it. Guard it. Refuse to allow any old thought patterns of worry or any new dramas of the world to disturb this holy and hard-won tranquility. This peace is the very foundation upon which all the other spoils of your victory will now be built. It is the sign and the seal of your new season. The war is over. Your time of peace has begun. But the second magnificent spoil of your victory is the great unblocking of your blessings. For the entire duration of this long spiritual war, the enemy's primary strategy was to place a series of spiritual dams and blockades around your life. He could not steal your destiny, but he could hinder it. He could not stop your blessings from being approved in heaven, but he could fight to delay their delivery on earth. These blockades are the reason you have felt so frustrated, why you have seen others pass you by, why you have worked so hard for such little return. You have been living in a state of supernatural and unjust resistance. But now, because the battle is over and the enemy has been defeated, every single one of those blockades is being utterly and completely demolished. I want you to see this in your spirit. See the great dam that the enemy had built across the river of your financial provision. See the stones of lack, the mortar of fear, and the chains of past debt. Now, see the victorious armies of heaven descending upon that dam with sledgehammers of light. See it cracking, groaning, and then bursting apart in a glorious explosion. And now, see the mighty river of God's supernatural provision, which has been building up behind that dam for years, rushing towards you in a magnificent and unstoppable flood. The season of lack is over. The season of overflow has begun. Now, see the second blockade, the one that has been placed around your relationships and your heart. See the walls of isolation, the thorns of past betrayals, and the gates of fear that the enemy had erected to keep divine connections from reaching you. And now, see the angels of God, with a gentle but irresistible force, tearing down those walls, uprooting the thorns, and throwing open the gates. The blessing of a healed marriage, of a restored family, of a divinely appointed soulmate, of a covenant community, the very relational blessing that was being held at bay by the spiritual warfare, is now flowing freely into your life. Finally, see the blockade that was placed over your divine purpose, the spiritual fog that has kept you from seeing your path with clarity, the resistance that has made every step of your journey feel like a struggle. And now, see the very breath of God blowing that fog away, revealing a path that is luminous, clear, and joyful. The struggle is over. The flow has begun. This is the second great spoil of your victory, the complete and total release of every blessing that has been dammed up and held back by the war. Prepare yourself, for the trickle is about to become a flood. Now for the third spoil of your victory, a gift of profound and gentle healing for your own weary soul. A soldier who has been in a long and brutal war does not return home unscathed. You have endured much. The constant pressure, the relentless attacks, the moments of fear and doubt, they have left wounds on your spirit, scars on your heart. God, your loving Father, sees these wounds. And in this new season of peace, He is now releasing a wave of His own divine healing energy to restore you, to mend you, and to make you more whole and more beautiful than you were before the battle ever began. This healing is a deep and holistic restoration. It begins with your mind. The patterns of anxious thinking, the hypervigilance, and the expectation of disaster that you developed as a survival mechanism during the war are now being gently and lovingly reprogrammed. God is pouring the oil of His peace upon the gears of your mind, soothing the anxiety and replacing the trauma-based thought loops with a new and holy serenity. You will find that your mind, which was once a battlefield, is now becoming a peaceful garden. This divine healing then flows into your emotions. The battle has left scars on your heart, the sting of betrayals, the sorrow of losses, the exhaustion of hope deferred. Jesus, the great physician, is now personally tending to these wounds. He is applying the balm of His unconditional love to every scar, every memory, every place of pain. He is restoring your capacity for joy, your ability to trust, and your openness to love. The emotional armor you had to wear during the war can now be safely removed, for you are no longer in a place of danger, but in a sanctuary of divine and tender care. Finally, this healing extends to your physical body. The chronic stress of spiritual warfare takes a tremendous toll on the physical vessel. It drains your energy, disrupts your sleep, and can manifest as aches, pains, and sickness. In this new season of peace, God is releasing a wave of physical rejuvenation and restoration over you. You will begin to sleep more deeply. The unexplained aches and pains will begin to fade. A new and vibrant energy will begin to flow through you. This is God, restoring not just your spirit, but your body, soul, and mind, making you completely whole and fully equipped to enjoy the magnificent, peaceful life that you have so courageously won. The fourth and final spoil of your victory is the divine principle of restitution. This is a law in the kingdom of God that is different from simple restoration. Restoration is getting back what you lost. But restitution is the defeated enemy being legally required, by the court of heaven, to pay you back far more than he ever stole from you. This is the holy justice of God in action. The enemy did not just lose the war, he must now pay you reparations for having started it in the first place. The years of your life that this battle consumed will now be paid back to you with interest. The first part of this restitution is the restoration of your time. The enemy stole years from you with his campaign of delay and distraction. God is now going to redeem that time. He is going to accelerate your destiny. You will now accomplish in a single year what would have taken you 10 years in your old season of struggle. God is going to collapse time on your behalf, propelling you forward with a supernatural momentum that will completely make up for all the years the locusts have eaten. The second part of this restitution is the restoration of your joy. The enemy stole your laughter, your lightness, your sense of wonder. He replaced it with the heavy burden of a soldier on constant alert. Now, God is commanding a sevenfold return of your joy. You will begin to laugh again, with a depth and a freedom you have not known since you were a child. A spirit of celebration, of delight, and of playfulness will be restored to your soul. The joy of the Lord will be your strength, and it will be the undeniable sign to all that your season of mourning is over. Finally, there will be a restitution of your resources. The money, the opportunities, the promotions that were stolen or sabotaged by the spiritual warfare must now be paid back in full, with a divine penalty attached. Expect unexpected financial blessings that are directly and miraculously linked to past losses. Expect a new opportunity to arise that is 7 times greater than the one you lost. This is not greed, this is divine justice. The enemy is now being forced, by the decree of heaven, to fund the very future he tried to destroy. Your greatest battle is now becoming the source of your greatest blessing. You have been briefed on your victory and the magnificent spoils that are now yours. Now, you must stand and formally receive your crown. The battle is over, and it is time for your coronation ceremony. This is the moment where you shift your identity from that of a weary warrior to that of a triumphant and reigning victor. Your active participation, your joyful and vocal acceptance of this new reality, is the final key that brings all these promises from the spiritual realm into your lived, tangible experience. You must now, with your own voice, accept the crown of victory that Jesus is placing upon your head. Remember the declaration you made in the comments. That was your triumphant shout from the battlefield, the signal to heaven that you had received the news of your victory. That declaration has been heard and honored. Now, you must move from the declaration of victory to the reality of reigning in peace. Every moment you continue to listen to this divine transmission, you are walking further out of the old battlefield and deeper into your new, peaceful kingdom. The enemy will try, even now, to pull you back into the memory of the fight. Do not let him. Your focus must now be on your peace. The enemy's final, desperate tactic is to try and convince you that the peace is not real, that another battle is just around the corner. To leave this divine celebration now, before you have been fully crowned and established in your new reality, is to leave yourself vulnerable to his lies. Stay until the very end, and let the truth of your sealed victory and your everlasting peace be so deeply embedded in your spirit that no lie of the enemy can ever again shake you. You have not just won a battle, you are entering a new and permanent era of your life. Before we proceed to the final prayer of thanksgiving, you must perform one final act of acceptance. I want you to find a place where you can stand for a moment. Stand up straight, lift your head high, and close your eyes. In your spirit, see Jesus himself standing before you, holding a magnificent crown of pure, golden light. See him gently placing it upon your head. This is your crown of victory, the symbol of your endurance, your faithfulness, and your new, royal status. As he places it upon you, I want you to whisper these words aloud: "My battle is over. I receive my crown. I walk in victory." Now, as you stand in the quiet dawn of your new season, you must understand your own critical role in this magnificent victory. Heaven's armies may have fought the final, decisive battle, but do not ever believe that you were a passive or helpless victim waiting for rescue. I, Michael, and all of heaven, witnessed your courage. It was your faith, your unwavering perseverance in the face of relentless opposition, that served as the very anchor for heaven's intervention. Your refusal to give up, your choice to whisper one more prayer when you felt you had no strength left, was the signal that authorized God to unleash his final, overwhelming power on your behalf. You must honor your own strength. Every day you chose to get out of bed and face the battle again was a victory. Every time you rejected a lie of the enemy and chose to believe in God's promise, you were actively fighting. Your prayers were not empty words echoing in a void, they were powerful spiritual weapons, divine intelligence, and legal petitions that fueled the entire celestial campaign. You were the soldier on the ground, holding a critical position, and your endurance is what made this final, triumphant victory possible. This was not a victory that God won for you. It was a glorious victory that he won with you, his brave and beloved warrior. Therefore, you must see this victory as a shared triumph, a testament to the magnificent power of the divine human partnership. Let this knowledge build an unshakable confidence in your spirit. You have been tested in the hottest fires of spiritual warfare, and you have emerged not just intact, but victorious. You have proven your loyalty, your strength, and your faith. This victory is not an unearned gift, it is your just and holy reward for your incredible and courageous perseverance. You are not just a recipient of grace, you are a proven and decorated veteran of the armies of light. Walk in the honor of that truth. Let it silence every voice of insecurity or unworthiness that has ever plagued your mind. You are a giant in a spirit, a soul of immense and proven strength. The battle is over because you refuse to surrender. Heaven is celebrating not just its own power, but your faithfulness. And now, you have earned the right to lay down your arms, to rest your weary soul, and to joyfully receive the magnificent spoils of a war that you, yourself, helped to win. As you step into this new season of peace, heaven will provide you with immediate and undeniable signs that the war is truly over. You must now shift your focus from that of a warrior scanning for threats to that of a citizen of a peaceful kingdom, looking for the evidence of your new, tranquil reality. The very first sign you will notice is a profound and holy quiet in your mind. The constant mental chatter of strategizing, of worrying, of analyzing every threat, the spiritual battle noise that has been the soundtrack of your life for so long, will suddenly cease. In its place will be a serene stillness, a quiet confidence. This is the sound of peacetime in your soul. The second sign will be the sudden and inexplicable retreat of your opposition. That person, that situation, that relentless problem that has been a constant source of conflict and a drain on your energy will suddenly back down. They may lose interest in fighting you, they may be removed from your life, or the problem itself may miraculously resolve itself without any effort on your part. This is the tangible evidence of the enemy's defeat. The spiritual forces that were fueling the conflict have been vanquished, and you will now see the physical results of their surrender. The fight will simply drain out of the situation. The third sign of your new peacetime reality will be the resolution of a long-standing and exhausting problem. Think of an issue that has been a constant battle, a drain on your finances, your time, and your emotional energy. In the coming days, you will witness this problem suddenly and miraculously solve itself. A legal issue will be decided in your favor. A difficult financial obligation will be unexpectedly cancelled. A complex project that was a source of constant struggle will suddenly fall into place with an effortless grace. This is heaven cleaning up the remaining debris from the battlefield of your life. Your role now is to recognize these events not as random strokes of good luck, but as the direct and tangible evidence of your sealed victory. Each time you witness one of these signs, you are to pause and give thanks. Acknowledge the hand of God in your newfound peace. This act of recognition is important, for it solidifies the reality of your new season in your own spirit. You are no longer living in a war zone. You are living in a kingdom of peace, and these signs are the daily proof of your new and blessed citizenship. Now I, Michael, must give you one of the most important, and perhaps one of the most difficult, instructions for your new season. You have been a warrior for a very long time. Your spirit, your mind, and your body have been in a state of high alert, of constant vigilance, of perpetual readiness for the next attack. But the war is over. And a soldier who has returned from a long and brutal war must learn a new and unfamiliar skill. They must learn how to truly rest. Your next divine command is not to fight harder, but to lay down your weapons and to enter into the sacred and healing sanctuary of rest. This is not a suggestion, it is a divine order. Your spirit, your soul, and your body are in desperate need of healing and restoration from the long and draining campaign you have just endured. To continue to live in a state of hypervigilance, to keep looking for the next battle, would be to dishonor the very victory that has been won for you. The greatest act of faith you can now demonstrate is to fully and completely relax. It is to trust, in the deepest part of your being, that the battle is truly over, that the seal of heaven is permanent, and that you are now, and forevermore, safe. So, how do you learn to rest? You must begin by consciously releasing the need to control everything. In the battle, you had to be strategic, to manage every detail. But in peacetime, your role is to surrender, to trust, and to flow. You must let go of the constant worry about the future. You must release the habit of replaying past battles in your mind. You must give yourself permission to enjoy simple moments of peace, of beauty, and of joy, without the underlying fear that the other shoe is about to drop. I, Michael, and my legions are now standing watch. You no longer need to. This season of rest is not an act of laziness or complacency. It is a sacred and necessary part of your healing and restoration. It is in this place of quiet and peaceful rest that the spoils of your victory can be fully received, processed, and enjoyed. It is in this place of tranquility that the healing of your battle wounds can take place. You cannot receive the fullness of your new, peaceful reality while your spirit is still braced for a fight. Therefore, embrace this rest. See it as your new spiritual discipline. Your ability to receive and to live in this new peace is the greatest testament to your faith in the victory that has been sealed for you. As you learn to live in this new season of peace, my role in your life, as Michael, also transforms. My primary assignment as the wartime general for your specific battle is now complete. The enemy has been routed, the victory has been sealed, and the declaration has been made. I am now transitioning from your commanding officer in a time of war to your official guardian of the peace in this new era of your life. My mission is no longer to lead you in active combat, but to ensure that you are able to fully and completely enjoy the spoils of the victory that you have so courageously helped to win. Think of my new role as that of a divine peacekeeping force. My legions and I are now being repositioned. We are no longer stationed on the front lines of an active battle. We are now forming a permanent and impenetrable protective perimeter around your new, peaceful reality. We are the celestial sentinels, the holy guardians, tasked by God the Father to ensure that the defeated enemy can never again rise up to disturb the sacred peace that has been established in your life. The borders of your new kingdom are now being perpetually patrolled by the armies of heaven. My new assignment is to be the divine enforcer of the seal of your victory. If the enemy, in his bitterness, attempts to test the boundaries of your new peace, if he tries to whisper the old lies of fear and struggle back into your mind, it is now my duty to immediately and forcefully silence those whispers. If he tries to orchestrate small skirmishes of chaos to try and pull you back into the feeling of warfare, it is my sacred duty to extinguish those fires before they can ever grow. I am the vigilant guardian of your new borders, ensuring that the old war remains a buried memory and never again becomes a part of your present reality. Therefore, you can now live with a new and profound level of security. You can build your future, you can love with an open heart, and you can dream big dreams, knowing that the peace of your kingdom is being personally guaranteed by heaven's most powerful warrior. You no longer need to be on high alert. You can stand down. You can breathe deeply. You can finally rest. The watch is now being held by me and the armies of heaven. Your new and beautiful role is not to fight, but to build, to create, and to live in the glorious and unhindered peace that your own faith and perseverance have so richly deserved. And so, we come to the final and most joyful act of this divine celebration. The battle is over. The spoils of war are being delivered. Your new season of peace is here. All that is left is to lift your voice in a pure and powerful prayer of thanksgiving, the ultimate expression of a victorious heart. This is not a prayer of petition, for you have nothing left to ask for in this matter. This is a prayer of pure, unadulterated praise, a triumphant celebration of the God who has fought for you and the glorious victory he has sealed over your life. This is the sweet fragrance of a grateful heart rising to the throne of heaven. I will now guide you in this final prayer. Let it be a joyful and mighty declaration that solidifies your new reality. Stand, if you are able, as a sign of respect and honor for your King. Lift your hands, not in surrender to an enemy, but in reception of your victory. And speak these words aloud, letting your voice join the unending chorus of celebration that is already taking place in the heavens on your behalf. Say, Father God, my King, my fortress, and my deliverer, I come before you now not as a soldier in a battle, but as a victor in your court. I thank you. I thank you with every fiber of my being for fighting for me. I thank you that the long, hard, and painful battle is finally and forever over. I receive your magnificent gift of victory. Now, you must give thanks to your celestial allies. Continue by declaring, and I thank you, my mighty and victorious general, Archangel Michael, and all the holy angels of heaven, for your tireless and courageous warfare on my behalf. Thank you for your protection, for your strength, and for enforcing the victory that was decreed from the throne. I honor your faithful service, and I welcome your continued presence as the guardian of my peace. This acknowledgement of your angelic team is an act of honor that strengthens the bond between you and the heavenly realm. Finally, you must joyfully and formally accept your new season and your new identity. Conclude your prayer with this triumphant declaration, with a heart that is overflowing with a joy I have never known, and now joyfully accept this new season of peace, of rest, and of blessing. I lay down the heavy weapons of war. I release the posture of a warrior. And I now take up my new identity as a reigning victor in your kingdom. My warrior days are over. My life as a victor begins now. In the powerful and glorious name of my King, Jesus Christ, Amen. It is finished. Your victory is complete. Now, go and live in the profound and everlasting peace you have won. You have now been crowned a victor, and with this new, royal status comes a new and glorious identity. For so long, you have rightly seen yourself as a warrior. You have had to be vigilant, strong, and constantly prepared for battle. But the battle is over, and you must now allow your identity to evolve. Michael says, a warrior is one who is always fighting. A victor is one who is resting in a battle that has already been won. You must now make the conscious and deliberate shift from the mindset of a warrior to the mindset of a victor. This is the most critical transition for your new season of peace, for you cannot fully enjoy a peaceful kingdom if your spirit is still dressed for war. This means you must intentionally stop looking for the next battle. Your spirit has been conditioned to anticipate the next attack, the next crisis, the next struggle. You must now retrain your spirit to anticipate the next blessing. Your new posture is one of joyful and peaceful expectation of good things. When a thought of fear or a worry about the future tries to enter your mind, you must now recognize it as an outdated signal from your old life. You must dismiss it with your new authority, saying, that battle is over. I am no longer a warrior in that war. I am a victor, and I live in a kingdom of peace. This new identity will also transform the way you pray and the words you speak. Your prayers are no longer the desperate petitions of a soldier under fire, begging for reinforcement. Your prayers are now the confident and grateful communications of a reigning king or queen, thanking the great king for the peace and abundance of their realm. You no longer pray for victory, you now give thanks from a position of victory. The words you speak over your own life must reflect this shift. Stop speaking the language of the battle, the language of struggle, of resistance, of fighting, and start speaking the language of the kingdom, the language of peace, of flow, of favor, and of effortless grace. Embracing this new identity is the final and most important key to living in your new season. It is a conscious, daily choice to believe that the war is truly and completely over. It is an act of faith to let your guard down and to trust in the permanent seal that heaven has placed upon your victory. By choosing to see yourself as a victor, you align your entire being with the new reality that God has created for you. You are no longer defined by your fight, you are now and forever defined by your victory. With the war now over, all the immense energy you once spent on fighting, on defending, and on merely surviving must now be redirected. You are entering your season of building. Your new purpose, in this era of divine peace, is to build the very destiny that the enemy fought so hard to prevent. The battle was fought to secure this ground. Now, you must build a magnificent kingdom upon that ground. The time for survival is over. The time for glorious and joyful creation has begun. Your hands, which for so long were clenched into fists for a fight, can now be open to design, to plant, and to build for the glory of God. Think of the dreams, the projects, and the callings that God placed in your heart long ago, the very things that had to be put on hold because the spiritual warfare was too intense. Now is the time to resurrect them. It is time to start the business. It is time to write the book. It is time to restore your family. It is time to create the art. The constant resistance that once made every step feel like an impossible struggle has now been removed. You will find that as you begin to build in this new season of peace, a supernatural grace and a divine flow will accompany your every effort. The work will be a joy, not a burden. You are now a master builder in the kingdom of God, and the peace you have won is the very foundation upon which you will now construct your new life. Every act of creation, every step you take to build your dream, is an act of worship, a testament to your faith in the victory that was won. And you are not building alone. I, Michael, and the angelic host have also transitioned roles. We are no longer just your army, we are now your divine construction crew. We are here to bring you the heavenly blueprints, to clear the logistical obstacles, and to guard the walls of the magnificent life you are now building. Therefore, do not be afraid to dream big. Do not be afraid to build something that seems impossible. The season of limitation is over. The season of building your legacy has begun. The enemy fought to keep you in a state of demolition and ruin. But his plan has failed. And now, the very ground he sought to turn into a wasteland will become the site of a glorious and beautiful temple, a testament to your resilience and to the restorative power of your God. Your new purpose is not to fight, but to build. So take up your divine tools and begin to create. Now we must speak of the scars you have sustained during this long and arduous war. Do not believe for a moment that you have emerged from this battle unmarked. You have wounds. You have memories of the pain, of the fear, and of the struggle. But Michael is here to tell you a profound and beautiful truth. You must not hide your scars. You must not see them as signs of shame, of damage, or of weakness. In the kingdom of heaven, your scars are your medals. They are your badges of honor. They are the beautiful and irrefutable proof of the battle you have endured and the magnificent victory that God has given you. Your scars have now been transformed into your testimony. They are the evidence that you have been to war and have returned, not as a casualty, but as a conqueror. They give you a unique and powerful authority that cannot be earned in a time of peace. When you speak to others who are still in the midst of their own battles, your words will carry the weight of authenticity. You are not speaking theories, you are speaking from the authority of your own lived experience. Your scars are the very thing that will make your testimony so powerful, so relatable, and so deeply healing to others. Therefore, you must learn to show your scars. This does not mean you must dwell on the pain of the past. It means you must be willing to share the story of how you got them, and more importantly, how God healed you and gave you the victory. Your story will be a source of immense and life-changing hope for those who feel that their own battle will never end. When they see you, a living, breathing victor, standing in peace and joy, it will ignite a fire of faith in their own hearts. It will give them the strength to keep fighting, to keep believing, and to hold on for their own victory. This is the ultimate redemption of your suffering. God has taken the very things that were meant to destroy you and has transformed them into the very tools you will now use to liberate others. Your greatest wounds will now become the source of your greatest ministry. Your deepest pain will become the wellspring of your deepest compassion. Your darkest night will become the lighthouse that guides others safely to shore. Do not hide your scars. Weigh them with honor. For they are a beautiful and powerful testament to the faithfulness of your God and the incredible strength He has placed within you. And you must know, with a profound and joyful certainty, that the celebration in heaven over your victory is not a one-time event that is already over. It is a continuous and unending celebration. Every single day that you choose to walk in your new peace, every time you reject an old pattern of fear, every time you take a step to build your new legacy, a fresh cheer erupts in the heavenly courts. The angels rejoice, not just for the battle that was won, but for the beautiful life of victory that you are now living. Your peace brings joy to the heart of heaven. Your life of victory is now a source of continuous and deep delight to the heart of God the Father. He looks upon you not with the critical eye of a taskmaster, but with the proud and loving gaze of a father watching his child thrive. He delights in your joy. He celebrates your freedom. He rejoices in your rest. The old season of struggle brought sorrow to his heart, but this new season of your peace and your purpose brings him an immeasurable and eternal glory. You are living the very life he has always dreamed for you. Let this knowledge fill you with a profound sense of your own worth and significance. Your life matters deeply to the entire kingdom of heaven. You are not an insignificant soul lost in the crowd. You are a celebrated hero, a beloved child, whose victory is a source of unending celebration. This truth should give you the confidence to walk with your head held high, to receive the blessings that are now flowing to you without any sense of guilt or unworthiness. You have earned this peace. You have earned this joy. And all of heaven is celebrating with you, every single step of the way. So, when you feel the quiet peace of your new reality, know that it is the very atmosphere of heaven surrounding you. When you feel a sudden wave of joy for no reason, know that it is the echo of the angel's song. Your life is no longer a battleground, it is a victory parade. And the celebration is not just for a day, it is for all of eternity. Live in this joy. Rest in this celebration. For you are endlessly and joyfully celebrated by your King. And so, we come to the final and most glorious truth, the unbreakable seal that guarantees your new reality forever. The victory that was won for you was not temporary. The peace you now feel is not a fleeting emotion. It is a permanent and everlasting state of being that has been sealed for you by the highest authority in the universe. The specific, long-term, and exhausting battle that you have been fighting is over, and it will never return. The enemy has been so decisively and so completely defeated on this front that he has lost all legal and spiritual right to ever again wage this particular war against you. This chapter of your life is closed, and the book has been sealed shut forever. Your new reality of peace is your eternal inheritance, a gift that has been purchased for you by the blood of Christ and enforced by the sword of heaven. And I, Michael, your guardian of the peace, now reaffirm my new and permanent commission over your life. It is my sacred duty to stand watch over the seal of your victory, to patrol the borders of your peaceful kingdom, and to ensure that no force of hell can ever again trespass upon this holy ground. The peace you now enjoy is not dependent on your own strength to maintain it, it is being perpetually guaranteed by the full might of the armies of heaven. Therefore, you can build your future with an absolute and total confidence. You can live your life without constantly looking over your shoulder, without waiting for the other shoe to drop. The war is over. The peace is permanent. Your victory is eternal. This is the unbreakable promise of your God, a promise that is backed by all of His power and all of His love. Let this truth sink into the deepest foundations of your soul and let it become the unshakable bedrock of your new life. You are eternally and completely secure. Go forth now, not as a weary warrior constantly on alert, but as a triumphant king or queen, resting in the glorious and unshakable peace of your own secure kingdom. The battle is over. The victory is sealed. The peace is permanent. Your new life of building, of creating, of loving, and of thriving has now begun. And you will live it under the constant watchfulness of your divine guardian and in the everlasting joy of your victorious King. The congratulations from heaven are now complete. Welcome to your new life. Amen.